Wait! Wait! Not yet! Not yet!
Hold on for a moment.
Again!
I'm proud to announce that Universal Studios Hollywood is converting the world-famous studio tour trams to become electric vehicles. As these trams roll out, guests will be experiencing all the movie-making action propelled by the latest energy-efficient technology. Now, this is just one example of NBC Universal's and Comcast's commitment to becoming carbon.
My name is Zach, and I'm your guide today. We're going to be going behind the scenes of one of the world's largest and busiest production studios. Now, the tour is going to last about 45 minutes to an hour. Also important to note, parts of the tour are in 3D. So if you have not gotten a pair of 3D glasses, please raise your hand right now so that we can get you a pair before we depart. You're going to need those for both King Kong and Fast and the Furious. Also, if we have any little ones whose feet do not quite touch the floor, if we could situate them in the middle of the aisle for their safety, that would also be appreciated. Important question though, do we have any first timers on the tour today? Anybody new? Ooh, we got lots on the first car. Nice system back there as well. This is exciting. You guys are in for a treat tonight. Any repeat tour takers, veterans of the tour coming back? Nice, alright. Welcome back, guys. Feeling some good noises. We got Pendar behind the wheel. He's one of the best drivers we've got here. We're going to be Tokyo drifting all around the lot. Alright, we're doing it. Let's everybody in the load line. We will never see them again. Okay, now here to get us started on the tour is my co-host. You might know him from Saturday Night Live and The Tonight Show. It's Mr. Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, hey there. You made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide,
Zach,
and the greatest driver,
Pendar.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Zach
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right, we do have a few safety rules to go over. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please remain seated and keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. Remember to use that red cord above your head if you need any assistance. The studio is private property, so at any point during the tour you drop your phone or your glasses off the side of the tram, just reach up, grab that cord, and again, remain seated. And please no smoking of any kind during the tour. Now, be prepared. Our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and many water effects. You're going to want to have your cameras out for great photo opportunities, but keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. Finally, for your safety and those around you, please do not use selfie sticks while you are on board. Alright, we have now left the theme park behind. We are heading on down to the heart of the working studio. We are now driving on down what we like to call the Universal Timeline. On your right and left, you'll see some movie posters. Now, these are just a handful of the thousands of films that Universal Studios has produced over the past 100 plus years. And the most important date in our history is March 15th, 1915, a long, long time ago. That was the day that Carl Laemmle, our founder, we like to call him Uncle Carl here, opened the doors of Universal City to the public so that people could come see movie making happening firsthand, just like what you're doing today. And yes, I did call it Universal City. We are a city. The strangest city in the world, Carl Laemmle called it. I can't help but agree. We have a population of 0. No one actually lives in Universal City. We all just come here to do one thing and one thing only, and that is produce and provide entertainment for all of you. That's pretty cool. But we do have a lot of amenities you might find in a regular city. Like on your right, you'll see we have our very own fire station. This is not a set, this is a real fire station with real firefighters. We also have a sheriff's substation, medical services, our own zip code, and most important for me, a coffee bean. Now, when Universal City first opened, we had about 230 acres of land, but since then we have grown to a whopping 400 acres, and we are still growing. The demand for film and TV is higher than ever, and we are currently going through some expansions to meet that demand. We are now rolling on into the front lot. This is where we house the majority of our 36 sound stages, along with editing labs and pre-production offices. First up, coming up on your left, is Soundstage 12. Now this is the largest and oldest soundstage on the entire lot. Some of the biggest film sets in history have been constructed right inside of that soundstage. Take a look. That's right, all of those films shot inside of that soundstage. We'll pause the video for just a moment here. If you look on the screen, this is what a soundstage looks like before production moves in. It's a giant soundproofed warehouse, a complete blank slate, where the art department can go in and construct any kind of set they can imagine in a completely controlled environment. That means they can control the lights, they can shoot day or night, and they don't have to worry about interruptions like passing aircraft or traffic. Now on your left here, we're passing by some sound stages. Some really great TV shows have been shooting inside of here recently, including Grand Crew with Nicole Byer and Carl Tart, the Emmy Award-winning Hacks starring Gene Smart, and Bel Air, the dramatic reboot of the 90s sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Did you just grab me a water when you can?
So what it is, you put egg on the cheese. You put cheese on the eggs and make cheese.
That's right.
Whoa, how many seats do you think are in there?
No, it's starting to be a lot.
Man, we could probably fit the whole Bel Air cast and crew in there.
You know, we gotta get one of these for the mansion.
For sure.
You're lucky for y'all. The Banks family mansion lives right here on the Universal lot.
Right. Some of Bel Air's most pivotal scenes have been filmed right here. Jabari, what have been your most memorable moments?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's so many to choose from. You know, I love the foyer set where Will first enters, and at that moment, his life changes forever. What about you?
Well, the Bel Air Academy gym set is here too, and I remember you having to sit in that cold ice bath for hours.
Yeah.
And that was really fun.
I still can't feel my toes. No, but seriously, my favorite part of this lot is the talented crew who put it all together, from hair, wardrobe, makeup,
Set design, props, and transportation.
Transpo. Yes, yo, Transpo's the best. And they have the sweetest rides for us to play with.
Actually, speaking of, if we're gonna get a ride like this, we better go talk to Transpo now and let these people get back to their tour.
Yeah, that sounds good. As long as I get to drive.
Oh, not if I got the keys.
Oh, nothing wrong.
Come on, man.
Bel Air just got renewed for a season 3. You can catch up on Peacock. That's our streaming service. Some other great shows that stream on Peacock include Mrs. Davis, starring Betty Gilpin, and Poker Face, starring Natasha Lyonne. Alright, coming up on your right, we've got some more sound stages. Some of the most popular and longest running TV shows of all time have shot inside some of these stages, going all the way back to shows like The Jeffersons and Coach and Martin. But newer shows as well have filmed in here, including The Good Place and Never Have I Ever. On your right, you'll see the Minions representing Illumination. That's right, we don't just do live action here at Universal. We've also partnered with Illumination, and we produce a lot of animated films as well, including the Despicable Me films, the Secret Life of Pets, the Sing movies, and of course, the Super Mario Brothers movie, now streaming on demand. Ooh, coming up on your left, let's raise a glass and give a toast to Ted. Ted is toasting us with the world's dirtiest martini. Now, Ted has a lot to celebrate about because he's getting his very own TV show coming to Peacock later this year. It's going to be a prequel to the films, executive produced by and starring Seth MacFarlane. Now, on the left here, these buildings are known as the production bungalows. These are very important buildings. See, this is where pre-production takes place. That's basically everything that needs to happen before cameras start rolling. So there might be people near having meetings about budgets or locations. There might be movie stars sitting down with producers in here to see if a role is right for them. Now, a lot of high-profile production companies now call Universal home. On your left, we're passing by $7 Productions. That's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's production company. They're working on a new season of Young Rock at the moment. Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw Productions also calls Universal home. And on your left, down that driveway, you'll see the Wicked Balloon outside Mark Platt Productions. Part 1 of the Wicked movie is coming to theaters Thanksgiving of next year. On your left is Bungalow 5195. That has a very familiar silhouette on the side of the building. This is, of course, Mr. Alfred Hitchcock, because that was Hitchcock's actual office from the 40s all the way through to the 70s. That's right, the master of suspense himself called Universal home, producing such hit thrillers as Psycho, Vertigo, and The Birds. Got some more sound stages on the left here, some of our newer sound stages. This is where they film American Auto with Anna Gasteyer from Saturday Night Live, and Lopez vs. Lopez. That's the new multicam sitcom starring George Lopez and his real-life daughter, Mayan Lopez. And that film's in front of a live studio audience. Alright, we are now leaving the front lot behind. We pass a lot of sound stages on the front lot. We do a lot of interior filming in those, but sometimes you gotta get outside to shoot. When we need to do that, we come out here to the back lot. This is where we have our large-scale exterior sets for outdoor filming. That's where we're going to be spending the majority of the rest of our tour. So first up, on your right, is the Metro sets. Now, these are for all of our city scenes, urban scenes. We've got a movie theater set in here, a hotel set, a shopping center. And on your right, you'll see some brownstone sets, kind of giving us a New York vibe. You may recognize those from the Mindy Project. That's where Mindy Lahiri lived on that show. And from the hit film, Bruce Almighty.
Grace, the dog!
I'm in the shower.
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good.
Oh, you're done now. Great.
Beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, we are rolling into the beautiful Courtyard Square. More of a middle America, small town vibe here. On your left, the City Hall building might look a little familiar. Some people know this as the Courthouse from To Kill a Mockingbird starring Gregory Peck, but most people recognize it as the Clock Tower from Back to the Future.
Let's go out. No, dear. You were right there.
Now, the building might look a little different from what you remember from Back to the Future, and that's actually by design. You see, other productions like to film here in Courtyard Square, but whenever that building would show up in their movies and TV shows, people just ended up pointing to the screen and being like, oh, look, it's the clock tower from Back to the Future. Kind of sucked them out of the story a little bit. So we changed the appearance of the building just enough so it'd be less distracting, but you can still see the original clock tower there. Alright, we are now turning on to New York Street, the heart of the Metro sets. Designed, of course, to look just like New York City. I bet my co-host Jimmy Fallon feels right at home here on New York Street.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there by an old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City.
Hey, I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
Hey, it's cool guys. I was just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
And most recently, they had a complex obstacle course set up here on New York Street because they were filming the new season of American Ninja Warrior. All right, we are now leaving the urban jungle behind. It is time to return to the true jungle. We are headed to Peter Jackson's King Kong.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. Action! I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island.
All right, a quick reminder, let's please remain seated and keep our hands and feet inside of the tram at all times.
Stay here for hundreds of years. I'm so sure of that.
Okay, glasses on, everybody. We're back in Skull Island.
That was King Kong 360 3D. Woo! Anybody get any dino spin on him? Yeah, that does tend to happen here. Now, King Kong 360 3D was filmed on some of the world's largest digital 3D screens, standing over 40 feet high and over 180 feet wide. It was designed by Peter Jackson and the team at Weta Effects. Weta Effects won their 7th Academy Award this year for Avatar: The Way of Water. They've also worked on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Jungle Book, and Avengers Endgame.
With a project like the studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions, there's creatures coming at them, they're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side. Working on a movie
We always know where the people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting it to the audience, it's a hell of a ride.
Now, some of you actually might have noticed that during King Kong 360 3D, at one point the tram itself actually appeared on screen. I believe we had a fifth car that unfortunately did not make it. That got dragged into a chasm by a T-Rex. Well, when that happens, when you see a vehicle of any kind appear on screen, it's something we in the industry like to call a picture car. Now, that can be any kind of vehicle. It can be a car, a boat, a plane, a spaceship, or in this case, it was a tram. Well, luckily for you, we actually have some of Universal's most iconic and recognizable picture cars coming up on your left for Back to the Stone Age. These cars from the Flintstones. Maybe the car could be part of a thrilling action set piece like the Ford Anglia from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Still got some things in there from the one with Willow, I see. I'm sure we can bump those right out. And some of our newer picture cars. We've got the Fry's Tech Team van from Jordan Peele's Nope. And a picture boat, the Crawdaddy from Jordan Peele's Us, where Winston Duke battled his tethered. And that tank is the Bradley Infantry Fighting Vehicle from Transformers. It looked like a metal battle-ready tank. It's actually just made of plywood. And that turret's nothing but a PVC pipe. That is movie magic. And picture cars can also transport us into the future a little bit. They can show us examples of technology we don't have access to quite yet. Like back in 1993's Jurassic Park. Remember those self-driving Ford Explorers? That's way before Tesla. So now it is time to return to Isla Nublar off the coast of Costa Rica, straight into dino territory.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
On your right, you can see the boat from Jurassic Park 3 that got trashed by a Spinosaurus. And on the left, you can see the mobile lab unit from the Lost World Jurassic Park, and they seem to be having some issues inside. Uh-oh. This is not good. We might have a code green. Okay, let's keep our eyes peeled, everyone. Oh, take cover. Oh, so sorry, everyone. This, and I'll be honest, this happens every day here. We cannot keep these dinosaurs in their cages. I'm sorry. And on your left, you'll see the Spinosaurus, one of the largest dinosaurs of the franchise. This year marks the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park. Happy birthday, Jurassic Park. Also happens to be my personal favorite movie of all time. And my favorite scene from the movie has got to be the scene when the T-Rex breaks out of her paddock. And one of the coolest aspects of that scene is the weather. A hurricane has trapped our heroes on the island, the rain is pounding down on the cars, it's all very claustrophobic. And the lightning offers a very dramatic reveal of the T-Rex for the first time. Now, all of those weather effects had to be done artificially, practically, and in camera. Because you can't rely on rainy days, especially when you're filming in Southern California. So we're going to show you how we do that here on our old Mexico sets with a weather demonstration. So, in the spirit of Jurassic Park, I say we summon a thunderstorm. Ooh, that looks good. Look at that lightning flash. I'm liking that. Ooh, that thunder sound is great too. I'm digging it, I'm digging it. But hey, no thunderstorm would be complete without the rain. Alright, and there you have it. We have summoned a thunderstorm out of midair. Now, if we were on an actual film, we said we wouldn't really be hearing this thunder. We'd keep it nice and quiet so we could pick all the actors' dialogue. The rain would be lit in a very particular way, so it would show up better on camera. So, there you have it. Thunderstorm. Not bad, not bad. I think we can do a little better than that, though. Maybe something bigger? How about a flash flood? Alright, hang on, everyone. It's about to get wet. Now, that flash flood was achieved by thousands of gallons of recycled water being dumped down the hill. You might have recognized it from the music video Judas by Lady Gaga, from its film Big Fat Liar.
You can't outrun the wolf, kid! Yeah, we'll see about that. Hang on, funny
We got some more of old Mexico on the left here. Some great films have shone here over the years, like The Three Amigos and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So, from old Mexico, we're now rolling on into the Old West. Welcome to 6 Points. These are our Western sets, some of the oldest sets in history. Some of the greatest Western stars of all time have moseyed on down these roads. Everyone from John Wayne to Jimmy Stewart and Clint Eastwood. But it has been featured in some recent projects as well, including the new Quantum Leap, in which Dr. Ben Song travels back in time to 1879. And in Quentin Tarantino's ninth film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. Now, you know, they actually won an Academy Award for Best Production Design for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, specifically for this set. Because they not only had it decorated to look like the Old West for the fictional TV show Lancer, but they had to make sure that all of the film and sound equipment was 1960s period appropriate, because that's when the film took place. So they decorated one set for 2 different time periods at the same time. No wonder they won an Oscar. So, from some of our older sets, we are going to be getting a glimpse at some of our newer sound stages coming up soon, so get excited for that. Yes, that's right, we do have sound stages on the back lot as well. Across the way from Park Lake, coming up on your left, you're going to see sound stages 30 through 33. Now, this is where they are filming The Voice. Season 24 of The Voice is currently in production, and joining Niall Horan, we're getting some new coaches. Reba McEntire, John Legend, and Gwen Stefani are joining the show. That should be a blast. And like I said, that body of water is known as Park Lake. It's very, very famous. That is where they filmed McHale's Navy, the TV show from the 50s. The lavish musical Showboat, directed by James Whale. That's where Paul Robeson famously sang Old Man River. And it was also featured in one of our monster movies, Creature from the Black Lagoon. And Park Lake stand in as the Amazon River for that film. Oh, hey, Gilman. That was Gilman, of course, one of the classic Universal movie monsters. And speaking of Universal's movie monsters, we are now headed into Little Europe. Now, this is the birthplace of the Universal movie monsters, but you might know it better as the afterlife from The Good Place.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Okay, well, maybe it's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
Alright, we got a bit of a bumpy road here in Little Europe. Bear with us. It's not really cobblestone we're driving on. It's actually just pressed concrete. On your left, you can see the all-chocolate everything shop from The Good Place. And that purple alley up there is Flower Alley. Some great films have shot here as well, including Around the World in 80 Days, which won Best Picture at the Oscars. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. It's the 20th anniversary of that film this year, and this was both Tortuga and Port Royal for that film. On your left, that shop with the blue doors, that was the frozen yogurt shop that was just featured in the Good Place clip. And you might also recognize Little Europe as Genovia, the fictional kingdom from The Princess Diaries 2, A Royal Engagement. On your right, this section of Little Europe is known as the Court of Miracles. This is where the angry villagers would often gather to chase away our movie monsters, either Quasimodo or Frankenstein's monster. You see, we here at Universal invented the monster movie, and all the classic movie monsters got their start right here in Little Europe.
When we think of Universal, we think of monsters.
Dracula, Frankenstein,
Wolfman,
Bride of Frankenstein,
The Mummy,
The Hunchback of Notre Dame,
The Invisible Man,
Phantom of the Opera.
classic films. They're just brilliantly made.
That Frankenstein image, flathead, bolt.
It's one of the great icons of the world. That to me was like the essence of the Universal horror film. I was just mesmerized by these movies. Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney.
I remember the original Universal Studios Mummy movie really scaring me.
They still ring in our memories now, and we love them.
I also love the Universal movie monsters. My personal favorite's always been Frankenstein's monster. I've always found him to be a very sympathetic kind of figure. And I think Boris Karloff is incredible in the role, especially given that the monster never speaks. So Karloff has to do all of his acting with just his face and his physicality. It really is a remarkable performance. And you know, we might consider the image of Frankenstein's monster a little cartoonish these days. Like, we have it on cereal boxes and stuff. But back in the day, it was considered a very creepy and unsettling image to people. It was so scary, in fact, that Carl Laemmle, Uncle Carl, he insisted that Boris Karloff, whenever he was in full makeup, wear a sack over his head as he was moving in between sets, so as not to alarm anybody. I've always thought that was kind of funny. All right, everyone, our tour is now approximately at the halfway mark. I just want to remind everyone to stay seated during the entire tour. The studio is private property, so if at any point during the tour you drop your phone or your glasses off the side of the tram, just reach up and grab that red E cord and I'll be back to assist you, but please remain seated on the tram. Alright, we're getting another glimpse at our 6-point sets here. One of our Western sets. Back in the 20s, Westerns was Universal's bread and butter. That's what put the studio on the map. But once we hit the 1970s, then we became known for our blockbusters. Speaking of the blockbusters, we are headed to Amity Island, home of Steven Spielberg's 1975 thriller, Jaws. On the right, you'll see good news. They caught that pesky man-eating shark that's been munching on all the tourists. They're just doing one final sweep of the cove just to make sure there's not another shark in the water. Uh-oh. Oh no, they've got a man in the water. This is not good. There's a shark in the water. Alright, let's keep our hands and feet inside of the tram if we don't want to lose them. And I think he performed pretty well tonight, but you know what? Bruce the Shark hasn't always worked properly, as the cast and crew can attest.
That's a much of a lion shark. The shark was frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio waves. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited. The shark worked well enough. For a while there, I had the biggest hit of all time. So I really owe the shark a lot.
That's right, the mechanical issues on Jaws actually set production behind by 100 days of filming. Now, it's a lot of days for a movie. But it turned out to be a bit of a blessing in disguise. You see, originally the film was supposed to come out in the winter of 1974, but instead they had to push it to the summer of 1975 thus inventing the summer blockbuster. Also, funnily enough, the United States experienced a record low attendance at the beaches that summer, and I can't imagine why. Now, you might also recognize Amity Island as the set of Cabot Cove from Murder, She Wrote. Now, Cabot Cove seems like a pretty nice place to live, despite the occasional murder. Speaking of nice places to live, we're now rolling on into some residential areas of the lot. On your left, that is Elm Street, the good kind. That house with the green roof was Boo Radley's house in To Kill a Mockingbird. And on your right, this beautiful house is known as the Chicken Ranch, featured in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, starring Dolly Parton. That's where she famously sang I Will Always Love You, before Whitney Houston made it popular. They also filmed inside of that house for the Halloween episode of the new Quantum Leap. On your left, we're passing by Colonial Street, a very recognizable street on the lot. You might know it better as Wisteria Lane from Desperate Housewives. Lots of great films, TV shows, and music videos have shot down there on Colonial Street. On your right, we have some more picture cars on the lot for photo opportunities. Now, first up, we've got this black and yellow Camaro. You know it, that's Bumblebee from the Transformers films. Right next to Barricade, one of the Decepticons. I'm not sure what they're doing hanging out together. And for fans of the Fast and the Furious, we have one of Dominic Toretto's cars from Furious 7. Now, you might be driving one of these picture cars late at night. You might be getting a little sleepy. You might need to pull over at a motel for the evening. Hopefully you don't do that at the Bates Motel. Welcome to the Bates Motel from Alfred Hitchcock's classic 1916 thriller, Psycho. With Mother's house looming in the background.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
12 rooms, 12 vacancies, a whole lot of fun. Alright everyone, our tour is now approximately 15 minutes from the end. We're going to be returning to the theme park shortly. I'm going to pull that emergency cord if you need assistance and remain seated at all times. Coming up on your left is Mother's house. This is the original house from Psycho, one of the most historic sets on the entire lot. Ooh, and I think someone might be home. Hi, Mother. Bye, Mother. And for one of the most historic sets, we're now entering one of the largest film sets in history. Welcome to Steven Spielberg's 2005 sci-fi epic, War of the Worlds.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around the vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep notice on me. Listen, listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Okay. Got them closed? Slowly. Robbie, get in. Get in.
That is an actual 747 airplane that Steven Spielberg found in an airplane graveyard in the Mojave Desert. He had it shipped on down to Hollywood on a fleet of flatbed trucks. Now, they had to cut it into 4 pieces just to make the trip, and on top of that, they had to cut up the top of the fuselage just so it could pass under bridges. Now, the original plan was actually to weld it all back together once it arrived in Hollywood, but Spielberg took one look at the plane and said, you know what? Don't bother. Looks perfect. Look exactly how he imagined a plane might look like if it got attacked by an alien spaceship. Also, I wasn't kidding when I said this is one of the largest film sets in history. It rivals Cecil B. DeMille's ancient Egypt sets from the Ten Commandments and the recreation of the Titanic in James Cameron's Titanic. Now the difference is, the airplane crash site set was only used in 4 minutes of the final film. Now the ancient Egypt sets and the Titanic sets, those were the main locations for those films respectively, but only 4 minutes of War of the Worlds was dedicated to this massive, massive set. That is a flex on Spielberg's part. Steven Spielberg, of course, one of the greatest directors of all time, and we really are honored that he considers Universal Studios his first home.
When I was about, 16 years old, and I began hanging out at Universal during my summers. We went to college nearby. I continued to come on the lot and try to become a director. So Universal sort of is my birthplace. This is the place I consider my first home, and I love it here. And I keep coming back.
Coming up on your left is Falls Lake. This is a very historic part of the lot. This is a giant concrete basin that we can fill with millions of gallons of water so that we can film open water scenes. Also, look at that blue screen. It's one of the largest blue screens in the world. Now, we use blue screens to digitally insert backgrounds in post-production, often using CGI or computer-generated imagery. Now, we've been filming at this location going all the way back to where Norman Bates disposed of Marion Crane's car in Psycho. And coming up on your left, you can see Jupiter's Claim. This is the actual set from Jordan Peele's 2022 sci-fi horror film, Nope. They're doing some renovations on it right now, so it's going to be a nope on Jupiter's Claim, but it is going to be a yep. For the finale of our tour, we have reached Fast and the Furious Supercharged. A quick reminder, everyone, let's please remain seated and keep our hands and feet inside of the tram. Now, you're going to have to do a little bit of acting for this ride. I'll give you guys the breakdown. Okay, so one of you is going to be playing an undercover witness. An international criminal, Owen Shaw, is after you. Luckily, Dominic Toretto and the rest of the Fast family, they're going to keep us safe here in Dom's garage. All you got to do is play it cool. I know you'll do great.
My name is Roman Pierce. Pleased to meet you. My buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you in Shaw for a while. So I brought you to our secret spot.
Alright, look guys, we're gonna keep Shaw from finding you, but to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here, so put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone could give us away.
I need you to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay and we'll meet you in there.
This is what we doing. This is the race day after party. And where the other?
Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move.
Him?
That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. I got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours. Hobbs, escort this novice out.
Let's go, Cookie Puss. You got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back. It was on vibrate.
Sure, traced us. Ops can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
Move! After them!
Okay, guys, it's showtime. Out, come to the left. This thing ain't moving fast enough. Roman, Letty, hook him up.
Hit it!
Now we're moving.
Guys, look out!
You give me the witness turret and we call it a day! The witness is mine, Letty!
How about you eat asphalt?
Don't think you're getting away! Come in the dogs!
Way to go, Letty. Not gonna happen.
No!
Don't worry, I got this. Hit the nitrous.
We're not gonna make it!
Ride or die.
Good job, everyone. You did so well. I'm proud of you. You're naturals. Fast 10, the newest entry of the Fast and Furious franchise, is currently in theaters. Get your tickets now.
Hell of a job, everybody. You protected the witness and you can resume breathing.
You know it's crazy out there. You guys ride hard. Respect.
You know, my Mona Lisa got messed up a little bit, but it's all good. We got through it. Y'all held us down. Appreciate it.
They say the bigger the family, the stronger it is. You guys did good out there. And you're welcome to join our crew anytime.
Or ask at any one of our retail stores. So on behalf of Pendar, our awesome driver, myself, Zach, your guide, and everyone here at NBC Universal, we hope you've enjoyed this exclusive behind-the-scenes Hollywood experience, and enjoy the rest of your evening here at Universal Studios Hollywood, the entertainment capital of LA. Goodbye, everyone, and as they say in the biz, that's a wrap.